Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome to the Bloomburrow Arena Open Day 1 event. This is going to be best of 1 Bloomburrow sealed with a goal of hitting 7 wins before 3 losses. If we can accomplish that, we'll qualify for Day 2, where we're going to be drafting with potential cash prizes on the line. Pretty exciting, pretty competitive event, but without further ado, let's just hop in there and see what we get to build with today. All right, well, we've opened up a lot of rares here, some very good ones really all around, particularly in red and green. We have 2 copies of Moira, which can be nice and consistent, as well as some great aggressive 3-drops in red and the Fecund Green Shell, one of the best rares in the format at 5 mana, so green-red looks like a great base for the deck. Maybe even get to splash white for a Balin. Maybe we get to go full Naya and play all of these rares except for the Darkstar Augur and the Iridescent Vinelasher, both of which are very solid black offspring rares. So super strong rares here, and the potential to play the majority of them in one deck is very exciting, but we certainly need to take a look at all of our commons and uncommons. That is going to be the majority of our deck here. This is also going to show us how much fixing we have. Luckily, one of our rares is pretty great fixing, the Fabled Passage there. But we also have a Fountain Port Bell, a Hidden Grotto, a Patchwork Banner for some more fixing. Patchwork Banner being excellent fixing, Fabled Passage being excellent fixing, the Hidden Grotto and the Fountain Port Bell a little worse. I would say Hidden Grotto is the worst of all of our fixing because we have to play our spells off curve to cast it. Like if we need to filter mana out of this, we're going to be playing our 3 mana spells on turn 4, our 4 mana spells on turn 5, and so on. But it's still definitely worth it if you have some really powerful cards that require you to be fixing a lot of mana to get to them if you need to do a lot of splashing. So solid fixing there. And one of the nice things is that one of the main colors we want to play is green in this sealed pool, and green can give us some more mana fixing potentially. So checking out the multicolored cards now. Let's zoom in a little bit. We've got some more green-red cards to go with our Moiras. Just a Wandertail Mentor, but that's an excellent card in the same kind of deck that's going to run these Moiras, because they're going to be ramping up into some big stuff, and the Wandertail Mentor will do the same. It's going to get some +1/+1 counters as we cast our bigger spells, so it's an early game mana dork that becomes a beefy threat as the game progresses. It's just excellent all around. Big fan of that. We've got solid hybrid mana cards, but don't really need to see those as big reasons to be in a specific color pair. Starseer Mentor is pretty good for black-white, but our rares are going to keep us pretty far away from doing that. And then a Seed Pod Squire, just another solid hybrid mana card. Alright, so let's check out all our colors individually now. Make sure we take a look at everything. Even though I'd really like to be green-red at the core, I want to do my due diligence here and see what everything in the sealed pool has to offer. White gives us excellent removal, the Board Wipe Bomb rare, and quite a solid quantity of creatures here. So white actually looks above average for the average power level of an individual color and sealed in this format. But again, with all the rares we have in other colors, we're hoping that those colors end up being quite a bit above average. This is just like a little above average here. Yeah, very solid looking color for sure. Worst case scenario, if we're splashing it, Banishing Light is very splashable removal because it only requires a single white mana. So that's kind of exciting. But yeah, even playing it as a core color, like the mana curve is weird. It's just a giant clump of 3 mana stuff. But there's quite a lot of cards here. There's great removal. There's a board wipe. There's a lot going for the color. There's even the Jackdaw Savior, which can be some graveyard recursion as your flyers die. Pretty good spell there. For our blue, we've got a pretty quick, pretty aggressive curve for blue in general. I mean, it is just a bunch of counter spells and some bounce. This is 3 mana bounce if you use it on attacking or tapped creatures. So everything out of blue costs only 2 or 3 mana, which is nice for like a tempo-based deck that's trying to do things nice and quick, keep things under control early. Double Mind Whisker is pretty spicy too. But there's just 0 bomb power in the color. It's just a bunch of pretty solid stuff, pretty consistent stuff. So again, honestly, our sealed pool looks pretty incredible so far, because I'd say this is above average for a color as well in sealed, just because of the consistency and the synergy of having a cheap curve. But we're certainly hoping not to end up playing this color because it would mean ditching a bunch of bombs that we have in other colors. For the black, we have Savor, Feed the Cycle for removal, Nocturnal Hunger as well. Excellent removal out of black, and both Iridescent Vine Lasher and Darkstar Augur for great rares. We've got Bonebind Orator, Soothsayer, Daggerfang Duo, and Thornplate Intimidator to fill out the mana curve, and those are all perfectly playable. The only thing I'm not that big of a fan of is Psychic Whirl, and honestly, Sealed is slow enough that just a discard spell like Psychic Whirl is quite a bit more playable in Sealed than Draft. I still don't know if it quite makes the cut, but it's not like an auto cut like it would be in most Draft decks. So again, I like every single color I've looked at so far, which is a little awkward and a little concerning considering the last two colors we're going to look at are the ones that I want to be the best. But we may have blown all our good luck on white, blue, and black with all of those being very reasonable colors. But here we are with red now, where we have Take Out the Trash, Hoarder's Overflow for removal. We have a Blacksmith's Talent that can become a pretty good win condition if you sink a bunch of mana into this. Giving any of your future creatures double strike and haste makes any creature a good draw at that point of the game. We obviously have the Valley Flamecaller and the Roughshod Duo, or not the Roughshod Duo, the Byway Barterer. Still don't remember every card by name yet. I was like, I know there's another 3 mana rare. But we have the Flamecaller and the Barterer here for very powerful reasons to be in the color. Yeah, I mean, this honestly looks pretty much just as good as every other color. It's got less quantity of like good playables because I don't really want to play cards like War Squeak, Sazakap's Brew, Might of the Meek. They're just not that exciting. Stuff like this is pretty filler, so there's a lot more filler in the color than any others, but it makes up for it with Flamecaller and Barterer. And it has a removal spell. It has a big expensive removal spell too, which might not be terrible here because I do like having big instant speed ways to expend 4 in decks that have a lot of cards that trigger when you expend 4. So having Conduct Electricity to trigger Byway Barterer, Roughshod Duo, Teapot Slinger, and our green-red raccoons at instant speed could be pretty sweet. Again, generally it is very expensive, but pretty good when you have a lot of cards that care about expending 4, and I think we will in green-red, so this would have been a filler removal spell, but I think it's actually going to be pretty good in this deck. Yeah, pretty exciting once again. Every color so far is just a pretty great color for the sealed pool. And now, last but hopefully not least, and it looks like certainly not least, is green. We have 3 copies of Heaped Harvest, which is probably the biggest MVP we could have hoped for out of green. We're trying to splash around so that we can play all of our rares together, and this Heaped Harvest is going to make that incredibly easy. Probably not to the point where I want to play literally every rare and splash in 4 different colors of cards, but definitely to the point of being able to splash in a double white board wipe, because we are going to have 3 Heaped Harvests, a Fabled Passage, a 3-tree Root Weaver, a Hidden Grotto, a Fountain Port Bell. We have fixing absolutely everywhere here, and we have a solid core to the deck that also synergizes really well with our Fecund Green Shell rare, where the majority of our creatures have higher toughness than power, so they would trigger if we have the Green Shell on the board. Cards like Treetop Sentries, Tree Guard Duo, Clifftop Lookout, 3-tree Scribe, and 3-tree Root Weaver all trigger the green shell when they enter the battlefield. We have the best green removal spell in the format with Hunter's Talent. It's a cheap, efficient removal spell that ends up taking over the game, breaking through board stalls with Trample and drawing you a bunch of cards with level 3. And we have other good removal like Longstalk Brawl. Green looks excellent, and this looks like just the perfect sealed pool, honestly, where we could play pretty much any color pair and any deck and end up with a solid brew. But because we have the excellent spells out of green and red in particular, I think we are going to go ahead and go for green, red, splash white off of our amount of fixing that we have here. So Let's just go through each color and immediately cut all the unplayable stuff. But there's honestly very little when it comes to like completely unplayable or stuff that I know I would just end up cutting. Like Seed Pod Squire and stuff is not unplayable, it's just definitely going to get cut by the end of this. I feel like a 3-color splashy deck that's spending a lot of mana on fixing is not going to be that excited about these little combat trick kind of spells. So we'll cut those. Just doesn't work with the deck plan. I don't know how excited I am about Balin. I honestly don't think I'm that excited. It's going to be pretty much impossible to do anything with Balin except for cast a 3-mana 4/3, which is fine. But it's a hard to cast 3-mana 4/3 where we need to find our splash color of mana to cast them. And at that point, it's almost less of a hoop to jump through than to just have dealt 1 damage to our opponent. Like Cindering Cutthroat, I think, is just on par, going to be way better than Balin. It's way easier to cast. You just need a red and 2. And it's going to be just as big as Balin if we've dealt damage to our opponent. And then this can also get Menace, whereas this is pretty much never going to use any of its other abilities. We have 1 sword token and maybe 1 food token. We're actually really, really bad at token production in this deck, so Balin looks pretty awful. So I'm going to cut the Balin there, but I am still definitely interested in a white or a black splash here. Maybe a black splash would be more reasonable, come to think of it. So if we go white, the biggest, most exciting reason to be splashing white here is the board wipe. So obviously that's one of our strongest rares, but it's going to require double white. So it's going to be a heftier cost on our mana base. It's going to be harder to hit 2 sources of our splash color. But we do also get 2 Banishing Lights going into the color and a Jackdaw Savior. I honestly think, like, if we go black instead, we get Vine Lasher, and then we get pretty comparable removal. We get a Feed the Cycle, a Saver, and a Nocturnal Hunger. The flaw that I see with splashing black here is that we're not a great deck at gaining life for Darkstar Augur. So Darkstar Augur is going to actually have a pretty substantial cost to it that life loss can absolutely add up in a deck that has very little token production and no life gain at all. No life link, I should say. So, like, there's a tiny bit of food token production, especially since we added black with the Saver, but don't know that it's enough to go for Darkstar Augur. I guess another part we consider here towards the life gain is that 3 Heaped Harvest is 3 more food. These aren't food tokens, but they are food nonetheless for gain 3s. I could really see either way. I think splashing white or splashing black is going to be pretty comparable, but I do generally like to have more consistent decks, more consistent colors, more consistent splashes, and having a splash that does not require double white or double black feels better. So I think I'm going to splash the black here. And maybe, again, with the amount of fixing I have, kind of just be a full 3-color deck at this point. It is worth noting a little bit that Feed the Cycle technically could cost 2 black and 1, but we can use this as late game removal no matter what by exiling 3 cards from our grave. And obviously if we have a Heaped Harvest on board or something, then we don't need the double black on that. I think I'm going for the black splash here. Honestly, I'm a little tiny bit disappointed with the Moiras here, because they really want you to expend 8, and that's kind of difficult for our deck to do. It's kind of difficult for our sealed pool to do, because our quantity of high mana value spells is really low. We've got like a 5-drop and a 4-drop out of white. Blue has double Finch formation for 6-drops, so I guess that sort of helps there. I could splash an Intimidator just for a way to spend 7 on one spell. Not quite 8, but still quite a bit. But yeah, like out of the green and the red, there's just like not a lot of high mana stuff to expend on. So we're really just hoping to cast 2 or 3 spells in one turn to get to that 8. That is the magical Christmas land color. How many raccoons do we have though? Because that could still be good. Yeah, 6 raccoons. That's still kind of exciting. We can play the Harvester as well for a changeling. Yeah. It's really not horrific. And Moira still works with the green shell with that really high toughness. Okay. We need to cut a lot of cards here. Like a lot of cards. 22 creatures, 15 non-creatures. This deck probably wants like 15 creatures max. I really don't think it's that aggressive. So, cut between like 7 or 8 creatures here. In sealed, we've got a lot of good early game cards for just setting up. I don't think I need super low curve generally in sealed, so we can cut our most mediocre 1 or 2 drop here, which is probably Whisker's Quill Scribe, spend the early turn on a Fountain Port Bell, or a Cash Grab, or a Blacksmith's Talent, ideally. So these are three other plays that we could cast turn 1 or turn 2 without needing our opponent to have something on board. Like all this removal needs our opponent to have something before we cast it. 3 mana, that is a giant clump of stuff there. Since I'm going to be less aggressive, we cut the Cutthroat here. Maybe the Corpseberry Cultivator without a lot of food or self-mill or anything. Maybe the Barkform Harvester. I mean, at least the Darkstar Augur is not going to be that painful here off the splash, because our curve doesn't actually go that crazy high. Maybe Teapot Slinger? Yeah, I'd be cutting another raccoon. I guess I don't really need a lot of raccoons for Moira to do stuff. By themselves, Moira is going to just make 1 mana a turn, which is not bad at all. You don't even have to tap Moira to get that mana. Yeah, no, I don't actually need to go super heavy raccoon count. So we could drop Slinger. Feels like the weakest of the high mana stuff. So if I cut 5, I'm still on 17 creatures here, which is like a lot. This might not be much of a Heartfire hero deck either. I don't think we have any creatures that are... Well, Roughshod Duo Heartfire hero is kind of spicy. Okay, so we have 1 combo with our creatures. I guess Treeguard Duo targets it once. We've got the Blacksmith's Talent to go with it. I'm probably cutting Sazakap Screw. The Hunter's Talent Heartfire hero goes hard. Because once you level up the Hunter's Talent to level 2, it's going to trigger your Heartfire hero every turn. You just know it's getting a +1/+1 counter and just snowballing up every turn. It does go pretty hard. It's still pretty high variance. It's usually just a 1 mana 1/1, but got a couple nice things to do with it. I still have to cut 8 cards, man. I mean, is there any merit to just not splashing? Is our green and our red good enough to just cut 8 splash cards? Oh my god, it is. Jesus Christ. Just cut the Fountain Port Bell then. And put another non-land back in. Interesting idea. Because the colors are more than deep enough. The Slinger back in over the bell. Wow. Dare I say the sealed pool is too good? And I have to choose whether or not to splash? Because honestly, there's basically no super filler cards in this deck without splashing. The deck is just all gas. You know, some of these cards are a little slow for a more aggressive deck by like draft standards and everything, but again, this is sealed. This is pretty good stuff. I could cut the Hidden Grotto as well, just playing 2 color. I don't have to run Hidden Grotto, which is nice. So we do this, or we get slower. I don't think we splash red because Wandertail Mentor and Double Moira, both cards we want to play turn 2 and turn 3 to get the mana going. They're not the kind of thing we want to wait for our splash colors so that we can cast them turn 5 or 6. Like, removal spells you can cast later, and that's going to be super fine. And really powerful spells like Augur, you can cast them later, that's still going to be fine. So yeah, I don't think we're splashing red in the sealed pool. It's got to be green-red core. Yeah, it's 8 cards we would have to get out of here. I don't need that much ramp here. I'm getting a random land off the top. Not great for a splash deck. I guess we just play the black removal over the green and the red removal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I do only technically need 1 black source, so we could just like cut these 7 and then only put in 2 Heaped Harvest instead of 3, because that's still quite a lot of fixing for just needing a single black source to cast all this stuff. Yeah. So I'll take a picture of this so I know exactly. Well, hold up. Let me cut 1 Heaped Harvest, and then I'll take a picture of it so I know exactly what 7 cards to cut and what 7 cards to put in. If I want to swap out between rounds and try each deck, but I think these are the 2 brews I'm rolling with. Let me open that up, make it nice and large, take a peek-see at that. And then let's just take a look. So here's Junding them out, is this deck. We get the Augur and the Vine Lasher pretty much. And we swap out our green-red removal for some of this black removal. Still do run the Take Out the Trash though, still run the most efficient removal that we have. Again, either way seems like a little awkwardly low on top end. But I can level up Hunter's Talent a bunch in this deck. And use Darkstar Augur card draw engine stuff, hopefully. And then the other deck, I have Hunter's Talent and Blacksmith's Talent for things to dump mana into and hope that they take over the late game. So we've got like 2 really good late game takeover kind of cards in each deck. And I'm going to take a peek at that green-red build again. Cards we cut were Blacksmith's Talent, Heartfire Hero, Roughshod Duo, Teapot Slinger, Conduct Electricity, Longstock Brawl, and Clifftop Lookout. And that is the 40 cards. This deck would not use Hidden Grotto as well, because it's just 2 colors. I could honestly probably cut Hidden Grotto and go 16 lands with this one. With Wandertail Mentor and Root Weaver, Double Moira, Patchwork Banner. And again, the curve is like, we really need to hit 3 mana turn 3, but then from there it's like just kind of out of stuff to do. So if I put another 1 or 2 drop in over the 17th land, be fine. Maybe Might of the Meek, just another little Heartfire Hero enabler. Sazakap's Brew, I guess, enables the thing, but you gotta give your opponent a fish for that, which isn't great. I could just play a 2 mana 2/2. Just help the curve a little, because it's not a great curve. Yeah. Sure. Just put that in. Yeah, I'm going to start things nice and simple. We're going to see if Gruul Raccoons has the power level to take us there, or if we do lose a game or 2 here, we might consider swapping over to Jund, make the deck a little less consistent, but add a little bit of removal and some bomb power with just a Darkstar Augur in here. So let's start off with the Gruul Raccoons, see if we can fling some trash in our opponent's faces. Here we are for game 1 on the draw. We have to hit a green source, of which we have 9 in the deck. If we get there, we're doing great. And if not, we're doing real bad. It's It's a gambly hand. 9 out of 33 here. Hoping to find our 1 out of 3 within a few draws, really. Never didn't have it. Better to be skilled than lucky on this one. Or lucky than skilled. The other way around. Start with the Wandertail Mentor, so I've got double Raccoon for Moira ASAP. Okay. Just Rakdos from our opponents so far. I don't have 4 mana worth of stuff to do right now. I'm just going to play 1 Moira. So we just poke for 2. Wish I had a trick to hold up here just in case, but fine. Didn't have really any great tricks in the sealed pool. We just had like the +1/+0 or the +2/0. Like nothing that defends our cards. Yep, so something like Nocturnal Hunger will just clear out Moira. But we've got a Curious Forager for the late game. I think in sealed it is worth playing that nice and slow if we can. Just Conduct Electricity next turn. Right, there's a 4/3 and we take 3. So instead I can actually go Root Weaver Hunter's Talent here. I will have expended 4 by the time Hunter's Talent resolves. And then we can do 3 to the Intimidator and save Conduct Electricity for the next card. Now we just start leveling up the Hunter's Talent if there's nothing we need to blow up here. Feels like a pretty good turn there. That's a little annoying, but Curious Forager makes it not that bad. Just play the Forager and get the Moira. Not that the Moira is going to be incredible here, but they don't have a board wipe. It should be pretty much game ending here. We just double spell them. And Mentor's a 4/4 if they don't kill it. Oh, I have exactly 3 cards in grave. Whoops. Well, shoot. I'm bad at math. I thought I would have 4. Oof. Spread out the damage here, so if they have a take out the trash, they don't stop at all. Well, maybe I should have just kept Conduct Electricity in hand then. Because if I did keep Forager in hand, I do think I needed to cast a spell this turn and keep the pressure on them since they didn't impact the board at all last turn. They're getting pretty low on life. Well, that works out well for me. Now it kind of makes sense that I didn't. Didn't forage. It's like, well, but then I would die to Legend Rule. I don't want to die to Legend Rule. Who wants to do that? Alright, they have to trade with Forager or let me draw a card. Neither of which is great for them, because Forager is kind of my least important creature. I guess Root Weaver is my least important creature. Forager is definitely less important than my Raccoons, though. Discard a card, draw 2. Take the damage, we'll draw a card and put them to 4 then. Find a Valley Flamecaller. There's the Spark Shooter to shoot me in the face. They are pretty dead on board. Without the Flamecaller, though. With the Flamecaller, they're super dead. Block, block. 1, 2, 3. Plus more with Flamecaller's ability. They need a really good instant speed removal spell to not die. Let's see it. 5 damage getting through. In theory. I guess 4 damage, but 4 damage is enough. They have exactly Savor. They're in a pretty solid spot here. I mean, not solid. We're still definitely in the lead, but... Okay. I was not thinking of scales, but that works pretty well, too. Hmm. Yeah, the 2 mana up, I was really thinking of Savor there, where that's a pretty good attack. But against Scales, I probably should have made something 4 power. 5 toughness Spark Shooters. Quite annoying. They have 1 card in hand. They get 1 free kill. I mean, I guess Flamecaller is a 5 power thing. I just kill the Spark Shooter. And then it's out of the way, and then I attack everybody next turn. Cool. Yeah, like obviously we're in a top deck war, which is not like ideal, but when you have the Hunter's talent on board, you are likely to win the top deck war. Plus, we already have the huge life total advantage from how the early game played out. Alright, a little sloppy there. Definitely could have played better, but deck still got us quite a solid lead, which is nice. Yeah, so combat math in the end is what got really sloppy. Obviously, the Curious Forager not realizing that I needed the 4 cards engraved to forage was certainly embarrassing, but it was still the right play to just play it without foraging anything at that point, with how low our opponent's life total was against 0 creatures on board. You just gotta play to the board and keep the pressure on. However, had I known that we were not going to have exactly enough to forage, I might have held Conduct Electricity instead of Curious Forager there. The game would have played out pretty comparably, whichever one we kept, though. So that part didn't matter too much. But definitely the combat math in the end. Not that any of the attacks were massively wrong with the information that we had, but I think we probably could have parsed that our opponent had Scales of Shale as a possibility instead of just thinking of Savor. And I think I could have made an attack that probably played a lot better around Scales of Shale. Alright, this is nice. All cheap stuff to start off, which is what you want. Got the Scribe here to slap the sword onto, discard a card, draw a card, and try to find stuff that is more important. Scavenger's Talent, so if the game goes long, that can mill us out as they eat all their food tokens, and every creature they control dying makes a food now, which is pretty annoying. So they are definitely in a good spot to grind things out. I can Longstalk Brawl and 3-Tree Scribe here. They get a fish, which will mean 2 food tokens for them over time. They get 1 from Assassin, 1 from the fish. Sketchy. Sketchy. I think this card's annoying enough to still just kill it. Yeah, and this plays a lot of power to the board, and I get to discard the mount and draw a card. Find Byway Barterer, which is actually fantastic here. I'm already kind of low on cards. Oh no, the fish and the food to crew the Tangle Tumbler? That's real annoying. Well, Mara's going to give us the mana to expend 4 here, but yeah, that's just a 6/6 blocker now. Forever. Alright. Tangle Tumbler's going to hold us off then. Actually, don't even know if I have anything to deck that deals with that. I guess we can kill it after they crew it with their tokens. We got gifting them a fish. Obviously, I can't kill it right now. I just mean in the future, all of our burn removal spells will be enough to kill it. Like if it blocks a 3/3, then I shoot it for another 3 or another 5 or another, based on whatever I have. I'll have to 2 for myself to get through it, but it's worth it for a 6 toughness blocker like that. Please allow me to keep Muera, so I can expend 4 next turn maybe. Tender Wild Guide, 2 of them. Excellent, excellent card. Those both sit there getting +1/+1 counters. And I got to keep Moira, which is also excellent. So now I can buy away Barterer and Cash Grab, discard my hand, draw 2, gain 3, pick up any permanent with Cash Grab as well. Yeah, this is going to be beautiful. Going to be beautiful. Barterer first, so that these both trigger when we expend 4. And then Cash Grab. Discard, draw 2. Land. Well, lands are still useful towards Blacksmith's talent level ups, and our Cash Grab options are plentiful. Banner, Flame Collar, looking best here. 2 raccoons on board. 1 warrior, 1 rogue. Flame Collar, Lizard, Mouse, Otter, Raccoon. We have 2 raccoons, 1 mouse, and this would be another creature in general. I feel like it's got to be Flame Collar over Banner. We can't attack in because they just make a 6/6. And block. I feel like that Tangle Tumbler and now the Wild Guide that keeps getting bigger with these +1/+1 counters, like I'm really concerned about how well defended our opponent is for grinding out the Scavenger's Talent mill win, where they mill us for 2 every time they sack a food. Well, this is concerning. This must be a green fight removal spell then. Okay, kill the Barterer. So now we need to expend 5 to draw any cards. Or sorry, expend 8 on Moira to draw any cards. Yep, there's the Scavenger's Talent level up. At least they only have 1 token up right now, so we might be able to attack this next turn. We're attacking into a 3/3 and a 2/2 Wild Guide. Bonebind Order, that is not a token, and they tapped another token. Yeah, they can't crew the Tangle Tumbler now, so we can actually attack in. That was a real bad draw. Oh, I guess I have exactly 6 mana. I can level up Blacksmith's Talent and play Flame Collar, which I think I need to do to add to my onboard damage, even if it means having 3 less mana towards expending more later. I would have to draw the only 5-drop in my deck to be able to double expel, or double spell expend next turn anyway. I guess there's 2. There's the burn spell and the green shell. So they have 5 toughness over there? A 3/3 Wild Guide and a 2/2 Order? I kind of think I just Blacksmith's Talent the 3-tree Scribe. If they block with Wild Guide Order on Moira, I can kill the Wild Guide, and then, you know, same with any blocks anywhere else. If they kill Moira, it's a little sad, but again, top decking 1 card per turn, I feel like our deck is really unlikely to ever expend 8 at this point anyway. So Moira is really just a 3/4, and that's just because Flame Collar. I guess Moira can gain us some life, but I really don't think we're losing to life total. I feel like we're losing to all the food token shenanigans they can set up. I could have equipped Whisker Quill Scribe to discard one of these lands to draw a card, but then 3-tree Scribe doesn't have good attacks. They can kill it for free with a 3/3 Wild Guide. Alright, easy kill on Wild Guide. They're down to 10, and we get to set up double strikers now. The double strike can attack into the Tangle Tumbler. Next turn I have the mana to set up a double striking 3-tree Scribe and then also spend the 2 to move the equipment over to Whisker Quill Scribe to discard a card, draw a card, because it's 4 to level up, 2 to equip naturally. Alright, level up again. Which is in their end step, they can sack 3 things to bring something back. But they can't, yeah, it's not worth it to them because they can't offspring because they're not casting. Alright, well. That's a card, which means we can turn it into a different card with Whisker Quill Scribe. They're going to have the 6/6 blocker up. I'm pretty sure I just attack with the 3-tree Scribe and then move over to Whisker Quill. I guess I really don't need the sword on blocks here. So I might as well move it first and see if I draw anything that matters. Anything that'd be better than spending 4 on that. Retreat Root Weaver is not better than spending 4 on this. So I will spend 4 on this. Move it back and send in. Oh, it can put the counter on itself. Oh, man. Oh, shoot, that's a punt. They can actually just block and put the counter on itself. We have to just pass. So I had to attack with Scribe or Flamecaller specifically? Oh my god, this Tumbler is such a monster. Shoot. Yeah, I wish I realized that a second sooner. I mean, I still have 8 damage with a Whisker Quill or a Flamecaller attacking in, so I can still attack with one of those next turn, but that's a pretty big deal. Why is Tangle Tumbler just the stone cold nuts here? It's just so bad for me. Teapot Slinger. Somewhat exciting, but they have infinite food from Scavenger's Talent. Scavenger's Talent just incredibly well positioned here. Why did I play that land? I guess I discard the Root Weaver instead. Trying to get to 10 lands for Green Shell? I probably shouldn't be trying to get to 10 lands for Green Shell that bad. I do only get to discard and draw one more time, I think, because I don't think I can send Flamecaller in here. See, look! We need to get to 10 lands on board for Green Shell, obviously. Come on. Well, if they don't block, they have to eat food. They probably just block with a fish. Yeah. And then they get another food. 16 cards left. God. They need 8 permanents to sack. It's got to just be Green Shell first, right? Yeah, because this draws me a card when I play the Teapot Slinger later. I guess the Slinger would be dealing 3 damage when I cast the Green Shell, though, which is pretty exciting. Oh, should put that there for now. I'm just moving it off so that I can get the free re-equip on the Whisker Quill next turn. Discard a card, draw a card again if I want. And if they have any removal in the universe, they're just going to kill Green Shell, so I feel like I don't put it there. The Exile to a May ability? It is not a May ability. So I want to cast Moira in a way where Moira does not see that we've expended 8. I guess I'm only expending 7 next turn either way. But I need to keep that in mind and definitely not expend 8. I really don't think I can outrace this talent thing, though. Because they can sack all the food for free. They can chump with 4 creatures at this point. That's at least 8 more mil. Plus this 4, that's 14 mil, and I have 13 cards in deck. This card just seems like not beatable without trample. And we don't have trample. Oh my god, it's incredibly not beatable with Egra. Because now they can just sack the creatures and mill me, and then sack the food and mill me. That's a pretty good wombo combo. Alright, you got me. Our black deck would also just lose to this, because we can't deal with enchantments with that deck. Okay. We're very dead. Screen shell me ability? Nope. I may put it on the battlefield, but I do have to put it in my hand no matter what, so I have to draw cards off that. Unless there's anything in our deck that gives trample, we're just dead. Roughshod Duo. But even if I hit Roughshod Duo, I'm milled by the time I untap with that card. And I would draw it. Oh, Hunter's Talent. Hunter's Talent is our out. Okay. So, Mara draw a card and hope that card is Hunter's Talent? I guess. That is not Hunter's Talent, but Curious Forager is not bad. I don't have the mana to do anything here, though. It has to be a permanent. So it'd have to be Byway Barter, I guess? Yeah, no. Curious Forager is actually not that good. Okay. I mean, no matter how I attack, they're gonna chump, sack the card as a food, and then mill my whole deck next turn. And I don't have the mana now to play Hunter's Talent and level it up, even if I draw it. So they got me, basically, right? Can discard a card, draw a card if I spend 2 to move this. Or if I do 0, but then I'd Hunter's Talent post-combat. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they've just got me here. Like, I just mill out before I get a turn. Because they can sack 1 food creature here. Mill 2. I have 8 cards left. Next turn they have 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they just sack 3 for 6 mana and then sack 3 more for free. They can mill 12 next turn with their mana with this Egra combo. If I kill the Egra, they probably still mill me, but I guess we'll see. Very surprised by this block. Yeah, no, I mean, they just mill me with regular food, right? I guess the food production only happens once per turn, but they still have enough. There's Hunter's Talent to pick up with Curious Forager to try to find lethal next turn. Not that it's super likely. Yeah, they just need to sack 4 permanents. And they can sack... Yeah, they can still sack 12. Or mill 12, because they can sack 3 food and then sack their 3 non-food permanents. We just needed Hunter's Talent earlier. Or Roughshod Duo. Man. Yeah, Scavenger's Talent is such a real card in sealed like this. No, well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're still milling me 12. They're still overkill milling me, but I guess because I'm blowing up one of their non-land permanents, they're milling me 8, but I had 8 cards in deck before I exiled 2, so it would have got me regardless. There's Roughshod Duo a little too late, too. Man. Get literal Scavenger's Talent milled out. Gotta be one of the saddest ways to lose an Arena Open game. Yeah. Just needed to be able to break through the board sooner. This card is perfectly designed to win the long game through mill. I'm gonna go for the fancy kill to be rude. Sure. Yep. Yeah, I've got nothing that like puts a card back on top of my deck or anything here. I'm just trying to read through and make sure. Nope. Scavenger's Talent, just too good. Alright, here we are now for game number 3. I thought the Forge audio followed me into this game from last one. It's like, wait, I'm hearing the Forge sound effects again. I don't need this in my life. Alright, well, I'm gonna cash grab here just because it searches for all our bombs. And our Hunter's Talent, which is basically one of our bombs. Finds no bombs, but Heartfire Hero is a good one. With Blacksmith's Talent. It's good with all the talents, really. Just Flamecaller first, though. Against Harnesser of Storms, next turn we can play Heartfire Hero, level up Blacksmith's Talent, equip Hero. It's a 3-2 basically at that point. No, it's a 3-3 naturally, so it's a 4-3, which means it attacks in. Yeah, thanks to Flamecaller. Cool. Okay, that's the last spell we're going to play. It's probably this kind of order. Maybe even this. This would allow me to like play this and move the equipment to that and then put it back on Heartfire Hero for free to trigger it again. Pass turn. Moira. So many good options. Well, we could throw our hand at a dartboard and a good play would pop out. It's definitely not attacking in with Flamecaller here against all the open mana. Play the Heartfire Hero. It is summoning 6, so it doesn't attack this turn anyway. Double blue up for the 4-mana counter spell. Yeah. Kind of like just rolling with the Heartfire Hero here and setting that up to get groovy. Don't love slamming down like a great spell against a bunch of open blue mana. Valley Floodcaller is the play. Alright, that triggers the Harnesser to draw another card. They decline because it would just get exiled forever. It's true. Green Shell. We need to find our burn fast or that wins. Green Shell turn 5 is very good. Much better than our Green Shell last game. That was like turn 15. Shoot. If I don't level up Blacksmith's Talent, I don't have the power to attack into this Green Shell. But if I do level that up, I'm not doing anything else this turn. I'm gonna juice up the mana so that I have enough mana to do that and something else on a future turn. Bellowing Crier, draw a card, discard a card. Very importantly, does not trigger the green shell to get them to draw another card yet. Mind Whisker also, very importantly, does not trigger green shell. So it looks like our biggest concern here is them getting to 10 mana rather than drawing a bunch of cards. Okay, this is the 7 mana we need to level up Blacksmith's Talent and play a 3-drop spell like Moira. Don't get to trigger Heartfire Hero again this turn. If I do that, feels worth it. Well, would be the difference between trading into the green shell and just getting past everybody. I highly doubt they block with green shell anyway, so I think I'm just playing Moira here. Rather than like moving and then doing that. Oh, can I? Blacksmith's Talent can still target it anyway. Oh, I'm so dumb. I didn't need to spend the extra 2 last turn. Well, that's definitely a good thing to learn. Normally, with an equip cost, I guess even if you pay the equip cost, you can re-equip the same creature. Hold on. I've been lied to all these years? I thought if you had like a Shuko on board, you can't just keep re-equipping the same creature? I guess you can. That's probably the whole Nadu thing. I don't play any Modern. I thought you had to do like back and forth. It's that you can't unequip, that's what it is. Lightning Greaves is the thing I'm thinking of. It's that you can't like unequip a Lightning Greaves if you only have one creature on board, but you could still re-equip your Lightning Greaves to the same card? No! Lightning Greaves is the exception to the rule because Lightning Greaves gives the creature Shroud, so you've equipped it with something that gives it Shroud, and because of that you can't target it with anything, including your Lightning Greaves, so you can't re-equip Lightning Greaves to that creature. I see. I see. Still nothing to forage. Play a Teapot Slinger. So I can start shooting. Play Scribe for fun. And I might actually throw this at Teapot Slinger here. The Menace is kind of a big deal. If they kill the Heartfire Hero, I'm killing 2 of their creatures. But I will have to forager it and start rebuilding it. Whoa! Sure. Should kill 3 of their creatures, right? No, because the way Flamecaller works is I still have to present lethal. So Flamecaller is whenever I deal damage to something, I deal 1 additional. So like in theory, I could do 1 damage to that, and 1 damage to that, and 1 damage to that. But that's not how it actually functions. I have to say that I'm dealing 2 to that, and then it's going to deal 3. And I have to say that I'm dealing 2 to that, and then it's going to deal 3. So I can't actually kill 3 of these. That would be pretty cool, though. I can do 5 to their face. Boom! Then I can draw a card, discard a card. Or discard a card, draw a card, but I don't want to. Guess I might as well have this on a blocker, though, anyway. Since it's free to re-equip. Ral! Oh, God. I think I've played against, like, 1 Ral before and I lost. What? They don't have double red. Don't play a mountain. Tell me the last card in your hand is not a mountain. That's like not a full board wipe here, but it would kill everything but our raccoons. Well, no, it wouldn't, because it's 3 damage to 1 target, right? Yeah. Okay, so they kill the Flame Caller and the Scribe. If they could cast that, but it looks like they can't.
There's evidence here somewhere.
Draw 3, discard 2, looking for some outs here. Sealed is so balmy. Ooh, and the draw from the green shell. Conduct electricity. That's a big one. I don't have a token out, but I can kill a blocker here. They're at 5 and I kill a blocker. Make a hasty Heartfire hero and they're dead, I imagine. I don't know, mass for blockers. Oh yeah, with the shoot to face being 3 damage, they're definitely dead. Yeah, 6 cards in grave, we're good. Boop, boop, boop. Submits, pick up Heartfire hero. Haste that bad boy out. Boom. Definitely at least 2 damage. And that is 2 and 1. We can fight our way through Green Shell plus Ral, but that's Scavenger's Talent. It wasn't the Scavenger's Talent alone. Tangle Tumbler, MVP of the Arena Open so far. It's just so dummy thick. Alright, here we are for game 4. 2 and 1 right now. Solid record to start things off. More wins than losses, which is definitely important. Carrot Cake is an annoying amount of blockers, some little chumping rabbits, and they set up their draws with a double scry and a gain 3. Another treetop sentries. Spicy. Not that concerned with playing treetop sentries on turn 4, so we're just going to lead with Roughshod Duo over Patchwork Banner. I don't really need to play the sentries till I can draw the cards off them, so we're probably playing Banner Cash Grab if I hit a land. If I don't hit a land, I'm just playing Banner. Curious Forager. Does Banner have to be on squirrels then? Banner might have to be on squirrels. Which means we just send in and see what happens first. Because I'm not expending 4. Yeah, triple swirl. They have another card type. Druid and Archer. It's gotta be Squirrel. Which is so weird with no Squirrel on board. Sonar Strike the Raccoon. Then Whiskervale Forerunner. That's a card we need to kill quickly. And we're 1 mana off from casting that Conduct Electricity. Yikes, I have to cash grab it to like a land here now. Ideally. And then we use that land to forge or back something else. Maybe. Yeah, that's true. That will work. If I hit a land on this cash grab, we can cash grab that and then forge or back the green shell here. Looks like the play. Because you have 5 cards in grave. Certainly the green shell. The green shell with 2 more high toughness creatures. Big. Still want to kind of pop the Forerunner before anything else, because this Valiant ability takes over the game so bad. Well, if they just pass with full untapped mana, they're probably holding up their own removal for green shell. But it could be them holding up protection for Forerunner. Forerunner's a weird one, though. It's significantly stronger to Valiant it during your turn because it puts the cards directly on the battlefield instead of just into your hand. Well, first and foremost, on board, this is a good attack. So this gets them to take 4 or do something. Wow. That is so surprising. Well, they can definitely kill green shell, but it's still better than playing an unforged treetop sentries. And this is going to let them cast whatever they want, but I don't have any other play unless I hold up Conduct Electricity expecting something good to pop out. Next turn. Sure. Here's the green shell. So we 2-for-1 them. We draw a card and they discard a card here. So they discard Feed the Cycle and we draw. Take out the trash. Not bad. And now we have the 3 cards engraved to forge off of a treetop sentries. Conduct Electricity gets to kill something and a rabbit. I keep wanting to say bunny. Forge has broken the audio as it does. Star Charter. No life gain, no life gain, no life gain. Boom. No value, no life gain. I think I just do the 3 damage removal here. Even though technically I could draw a card there, like, it's not worth blowing the 6 damage removal. Also, I forgot this is 6 and not 5. I don't know why I keep thinking it's 5. Probably misplayed earlier. Could have killed a green shell instead of whatever else I killed that other game. I don't think I have more graveyard recursion in this deck, so it doesn't really matter what we exile. But just in case I forgot about something. Yeah, there's no more graveyard recursion in this deck. So that green shell's gone forever. Rotten Mouth Viper. Well, that's our Conduct Electricity target. I will certainly lose 4. Three mana up afterwards is not enough to cast one of these cards. Two cards in grave is not enough to forge next turn. I have some discard to draw. I'll hold on to this forest. And our opponent's on black. They can have discard spells of their own. I'll start holding on to lands now. Wix Patrol's really good. At least it's only 3 toughness, but wow. Oh, and it hit an order too. That was a 3-for-1? Get a 5/3, kill my best creature, draw their best creature back from grave. So just draw back the Rottenmouth Viper. It's actually just a game-ending level of good there. I've got my 3 cards in grave now, at least. But that was an incredible Wix Patrol. Teapot Slinger's exciting. Teapot Slinger and then Treeguard Duo the Slinger is something here. But I kind of want a Treeguard Duo for immediate damage. We would hit for 5. This is a 6 toughness scribe here. We hit for 5. They're going to be at 4 against a Teapot Slinger that'd kill them off of 2 expends. They spend 4 on order next turn. They don't have the mana to recast the Rotten Mouth. So they're not going to have good blocks for a Teapot Slinger when I Treeguard Duo it. Yeah, I guess it's just the Slinger then. Because then we get a big menace attack with Treeguard Duo and shoot them for 2 when I do it. Just hold all the mana up. That's concerning and sad. Well, I guess they just ordered at the end step, right? Yeah, it orders instant speed, so that's why. Never mind. Yeah, we just go for it. Max damage would be Moira first. And the duo ability is slightly bigger. So they're at 7. They have to double block Teapot Slinger and go to 2 on board. If their last card in hand is not removal, this turn is incredible, and we have to take that chance here with 1 card in their hand. And if they had just a land in hand, their best play would just be pass, so they can use Orator. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. A little sketchy. Very good Wix Patrol from our opponent, where if they had the time, they could grind back into it there, trade the Wix Patrol off, and then bring back the Wix Patrol, or bring back the 6/6 if they were under less pressure, but it looks like they did not have the time there. They just ran out of gas a little bit. We are 3-1 then, as we head into game number 5. Game 5. Couple raccoons and a patchwork banner, don't mind if I do. Playing against green-white with a turn to play. Very aggressive, playing to the board immediately here. It's just a 1/1, thankfully, just a carrot cake. Oh god, Patchwork Banner is by far the scariest in green-white rabbits, though. There's just so many ways to spit out multiples. This could be a real quick, real non-interactive game of Magic here, we'll see. It's my best plays defensively. Honestly, my best offensive and defensive plays feel the same, where it's literally just duo into Slinger. Because then I've got the 3/4 out next turn. Yeah, I mean, this isn't blocking any 2/2s anyway. If I play Banner now, I have Conduct Electricity as an option next turn, but otherwise I'm still just playing Slinger. I think it's just duo into Slinger here. Yikes. It's a lot of green shells today. I mean, I guess I've got one of those, but still, like, come on. Conduct Electricity can kill it, but we gotta hope they don't have another higher toughness creature. And if it weren't for Patchwork Banner, we'd have Conduct Electricity up right on time, but they had the Patchwork Banner curve into the green shell to play at turn 4 instead of turn 5. If I played my own Patchwork Banner, I would have Conduct Electricity up here, but we couldn't have known they were going to play something that important to kill immediately. Like, they were equally likely to play some crazy, like, hop to it kind of thing, but it's like, here's 3/1/1 rabbits, you know? Wow, the Longstock Brawl afterward, too. The Salvation Swan to flicker the green shell and draw another card? Good grief. Well, it's pretty ridiculous. And it's really not looking good for us. At least we know it dies here, but incredible start from our opponent. Down to 3 cards in hand. If those are considerably weaker than the first spells they've played, still got a shot this game. But if those are anywhere near the quality of their first plays, we're not doing so hot here. Curious Forager. Okay, not bad in the future. Not great right now. Banner up raccoons. Got 2 frogs in hand, 1 squirrel, but I could Forager back this raccoon, and I have more raccoons in my deck than anything else. I feel like I banner on raccoons, and that's going to give me attacks this turn. Off of the expend, and then I can Longstock Brawl without giving them a fish on their flyer. This also lets me attack in first, so if they have a good combat trick, they're going to use it to trade into Roughshod Duo rather than save the Swan from the Brawl. So this tests the water for the crumb and get it style combat trick. I mean, they could sack their carrot cake and block with the 3/3 players and the 2/2 rabbit here, I guess. But the main thing would be, yeah, okay, not getting got by that is huge. If I Longstock Brawled into the Polywallop, that would have been devastating. So now I guess we do give them the fish to make sure while they're tapped out we kill the Swan. Cool. Now I have a 3/4 against the 3/3 as a blocker too. We've got the cards engraved to forage now. So if we top deck a land, we can go Forager, pick up the Slinger. If we don't top deck a land, Treetop Sentries. It's interesting. It's probably our best play. Keeps us a lot farther from using Forager. I could play Lookout and Forager. That would be pretty reasonable. At 15, taking 1 a turn in the sky, I don't think I need to drop the reach immediately. Yeah, let's go Lookout Forager here. I guess either way I have to hear the Forge audio for the rest of the game, which is not enjoyable. Just turn that off this time. 2/2. So they block with a 3/3 and a 2/2. Yeah, we just hold up our blocks. I've got a Mouse Trapper as well. That can tap a creature every turn alongside Thistledown players. They can attack with Thistledown players, Mouse Trapper, untap the Mouse Trapper, and tap 3 Tree Scribe. Then I can still just trade Forager off. That's just a fine trade with anything on their board. They're just going to pass, not even going to poke me for 1 in the sky. Pretty happy with that. Play the Teapot Slinger before I play any other 4-drops. And with Sentries in hand, don't mind starting to trade things off, but I do hate the Forager for a 2/2 rabbit trade. That's a very bad trade, but Scribe double block trade is certainly a lot less bad now. That fills up our grave. Oh, right, this has reach. So I already just had, bounce off Life Creed Duo with my 1/2 as a block. Ooh, surprising block from our opponent. I'm very fine with that. Kill the little fish. Okay. I mean, we're ahead here against the Starfall. 2 cards to 2 cards. Okay, if they have Quest Caller, we're behind. Oh, this is expend 7. I could play Moira Pass, hoping Sentries, like my top deck plus my Sentries draw hits expend 8. And I still have a 4 toughness blocker against a 3/4. I guess they get a 2/2 Scry 1 in their upkeep. Attack for 4. I feel like we're going for an expend 8 here. Oh, I've got a 3/5. So they attack both, and I can actually block the 4/4. So they scry, draw 1 card. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have played around the board wipe last turn when I saw them just jump with a fish. Not that the 1/3 body was particularly exciting, but it would give me something else. Just a 1/3 towards expending if we drew into a Moira. Alright, so a scry to the bottom. They draw into a Hidden Grotto, which is another scry. Gonna definitely help in a top deck war scenario. Right, they might as well attack both and hit me for 3 here. No, they want to play around stuff. Oh. Can I afford to wait another turn for the guaranteed hit? They get another draw step to just kill Moira off the top. Kind of think I need to go for the guaranteed expend here. Oh god. Wow. That is insane with Quest Caller. This is the Green Shell, Salvation Swan, Starfall Invocation, Quest Caller deck. Disgusting. I honestly forgot at this point we fire our way through a Green Shell on top of all this. My god. Oh wait, we blocked the 4/4 obviously. 7 it is. That is expend 6. But cash grab guarantees expend 8, right? If I hold full control, I can play Treetop Sentries, then cash grab with Treetop Sentries on board to guarantee I get a food token out of it, and then I can forage sacking the food. But I think I would rather just leave the food, so I'm just gonna like play the sentries and then exile 3 to forage and then play the cash grab. I'm slightly tempted to cash grab first because I have some cards like Green Shell that'd be too expensive after this, but I feel like I have to get the food. Well, Moira's gonna gain. Moira's gonna gain 3 now and then. I guess I cash grab first, but I have all the mana up if we hit Green Shell instead. Okay, well, Hunter's Talent it is. That's actually huge to be able to kill the Quest Caller and expend 8 at the same time. Two, 3. Draw a card, find Heartfire Hero. Oh shoot, I can't kill Quest Caller because it's 4 toughness? Because the stupid banner? Oh no. I can only shoot for 3. Man. I kill a rabbit token then because I still need to expend 8. Kill a rabbit token and level this up, I guess. Worst hit in the deck, baby. Is it better to play Heartfire Hero than level up Hunter's Talent right now? I guess saving Heartfire Hero for next turn would lead to more to expend on. But it's also another blocker, which is kind of big. I think I just play another blocker, because leveling this up doesn't do anything on blocks. Well, if I miss next turn, I can just fully level up Hunter's Talent attack with Moira to draw the card. If they kill the Moira, I just play the other one. Or I can just block in a way where Moira dies and play the other one. And that gets me the value I was looking for. Well, I could kill the Thistledown players at the cost of a Heartfire Hero, or kill the Intrepid Rabbit at the cost of a Moira. But when I've got Legend Rule here, I feel like killing at the cost of a Moira is super fine. I could also block with a 3/5 and a 2/4 and kill at the cost of a Treetop Sentries, but I can't replace the Treetop Sentries. I can replace the Moira. Take out the trash. So that is most importantly gonna gain 3 off this Moira. So discard a card, draw a card as well if I wait, but I'd have to wait. which I don't know if I want to do here. I guess I don't have the mana to make this level 3 and take out the trash at the same time. Level 3 doesn't do anything for me right now, though, because I can't make a 4-power thing. Could attack with a 3-power Heartfire hero, because I can go to 9. Worst case scenario. They probably just trade with the rabbit token. No blocks. Fair. Yeah, I kind of like this better on blocks, actually. Trying to kill Quest Caller. Yep. Okay. That doesn't die, that doesn't die. Quest Caller dies. And then this down player dies because it was dealt damage. That's huge. And then Flame Caller is good here. The nice from opponent. It was pretty decent. And now Heartfire Hero, because we attacked with it last turn, will attack as a 4-power creature to let us draw the card. And I can hold everyone else up as blocks. All right. All right. Gain 3 off Moira. The GG from opponent. I'll throw out the GG as well. Send for attempted lethal. And it is well over lethal. Ooh. Some real explosive, real rocky games in the Arena Open, but you're going to face fierce competition like this. Our deck is pretty bomb heavy, but that was horrifying from our opponent as well. The green shell, the swan on the green shell for the second trigger, the invocation board wipe, quest caller to buff everybody. They built a great deck here, and they opened great cards as well. The Patchwork Manor alongside Intrepid Rabbit style cards. Really, really solid deck from our opponent, but they just flooded a bit in the end, and we hit kind of exactly what we needed just in time to grind out the end game. Close, close games of Magic today. We are 4-1 now, heading into round number 6. All right, here we are for game 6. We get to ramp into a turn 3 Teapot Slinger on the play. Like that quite a bit. The Conduct Electricity also gets to expend for it. Get that ping going while we clear out some of our opponent's board. Ideally curving out like this, seeing if we can get Forager value in the late game based on our other draws. Just hitting any other non-land cards to cast before Forager is what we're looking for. But luckily the Fabled Passage plays really well with Forage. We drew into a Moira, which I could play before Teapot Slinger, but I'm pretty sure I just start with the Menacing Threat. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gaining the life off of casting the Slinger here. That's kind of it. Not till I expend 8 is Moira really exciting. And it could draw removal that could have killed Moira. Now they can't kill Moira with Repel Calamity. Okay. Can't double spell here. I can just poke for 1 play Moira. Yeah, I don't have the Forage count yet for the Sentries or the Forager anyway. Sure. Next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. We will not have the 8 we need to go like Electricity Forager to trigger the expend 8. Clifftop Lookout, a little bit of ramp from our opponent. We can attack into that with a 2/4. Whisker Quill Scribe. So I have Conduct Electricity up if they try to do any nonsense here. Guessing I'm just playing Scribe at this point of the game. I don't know, I kind of have to play something to the board. Yeah, not the most exciting creatures to dump here. I could conduct electricity, but it feels real bad. I could just hold it up. Just play the Scribe. They have found 3 colors of mana now, plus a hidden grotto for whatever they need. Season of the Burrow. That is quite the bomb here. 5 1/1s off that mythic. Byway Barter is a good one. So now we are just on speed mode, dump our hand as quickly as possible. A Warren Elder with 5 1/1s is a pretty big problem, so I might conduct electricity here. Gets a 3rd card engraved so I can forage with one of these, trying to get these out of the way before I Byway Barterer. Don't love that I don't have removal left, but kind of like 5 2/2s right now, which is just too much action here. Double block Scribe. Yeah, they've got pretty good blocks. Oh my god. Wow. So I could have played a blocker here and then been facing 5 2/2s, but instead they follow up with the War Leader, so I get to face 5 3/3s. Oh man. I guess we lose then. Feel like the play was reasonable. Obviously, it didn't work out too well for us, but if I just held all my mana up and conducted War Leader, we're still in a losing position against just all the 1/1s with the Elder. God dang, yeah. RIP, I guess. Have the 1 green mana trick as well. Nope, at least they don't have that. Yeah, I mean, but I spent my removal and then they followed with one of the best mythics in the format. Now I can't kill it. Alright, well, a big part of stopping the Elder combo there was assuming we wouldn't get double mythicked, and then we got double mythicked, so. What can you do? Their whole board attacks is 3/3s minimum when we're at 12. I don't see any remotely viable lines. Forager can't pick up the conduct electricity. We could try to top deck Hunter's Talents, but I think I would need it faster than the time I would draw it. I guess Treetop Sentries could top deck it immediately. Barter, I could tap out and then top deck it. And honestly, even if I hit it, I can't kill the War Leader. I can kill its 1/1 buddy. So I guess I go for Barter to try to get to it at that point. So I can't kill anything with it yet anyway. Okay, that's not the Hunter's Talent regardless. Treetop Sentries is an expend 4 to discard my hand, draw 2, and then draw another card off its ETB. And I get extra Raccoon mana if I keep these around. So probably Sentries. Oop. Doing this wrong. I'm probably picking up Sentries. I am at 15. something. Gross. Just make sure the war leader's incredibly safe to attack. Oh my god. Jesus. This honestly looks like such a losing game, even if I could conduct War Leader. Because again, all those 1/1s with the other stuff is still shredding my soul so bad right now. The decks just keep getting more and more insane. But that's to be expected when your win rate gets higher and higher in these queues. 3, 4, 5. I could expend 8, but that doesn't affect the board at all. I guess I can. I might just die to this trampling Burrow Guard Mentor now, no matter what. Like I can Roughshod Duo and then trigger the +1/+1 trample on the Barterer plus Longstock Brawl to make it a 5/5 to kill War Leader and replace it with a fish, and then I die to trample. Take out the trash. Can also take out the trash, the token here. Discard this land, draw a card at 4 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I have to take this out before they declare an attack anyway. But I think I'm taking lethal on board regardless. Yeah, 4 life. This has got to be lethal. Oh my god! Stop! For the love of God, please! I'm already dead! No, they went for the onboard lethal. You got me. Well, that was a blowout. I guess our best play with perfect hindsight was holding up the electrostatic current for the second mythic. I just really was not expecting the follow through immediately like that. I wanted to get it out there while they were tapped out. Whew. Still would have been a really hard fought battle, but I think we got close enough in the very end off of that really good final turn, like hitting the take out the trash on top of the other removal there. That's there is a non-zero chance we could have won that game if I played perfectly and omnisciently. Like I knew that that Warren War Leader was coming. This is a really solid start for us. Do I want to look out to guarantee Green Shell next turn? If I play Tactician, I probably play Green Shell next turn, but they're more likely to kill this and then I don't get to do it, whereas Lookout is like 100% guarantee I play Green Shell next turn. I think I Lookout. Because like even if for some really weird reason they wanted to blow up the Lookout, it already gave me the land, so I get to play Green Shell. And they're black-white, those are removal-heavy colors. So there's a card draw engine for our opponent if they can control the game out. So if they're on a board-wipe deck, let's hope not, because I do need to put substantial pressure on the board before I feel like I can play around a board wipe, so I'm gonna lead with the Green Shell. Okay. Honestly, Green Shell is so good at giving us card advantage in this deck that we can kind of just naturally overextend into the board. And we'll just have backup spells, right? Like as soon as I have 3 cards in grave, Treetop Sentries is a draw 2 when I cast it. Like we'll have backups. Everything in my hand draws me a card. That is an easy lose 3 life. Heartfire Hero. Okay, that doesn't draw me a card. Hold up a take out the trash during combat. That means I can play a 3-drop pre-combat or just wait. Just wait. It's fine. Bold moves. 3-drop it's gonna be then. There are 2 board wipes in their color pair, which is what's kind of worrisome. But they're spending targeted removal on the green shell, so even if they have a board wipe in the sealed pool, it is certainly not in hand if they're doing that. So they could have Starfall Invocation at rare, or they could have Season of Loss at mythic out of black. But again, even if they have it in their sealed deck, it's certainly not in the hand with that early winter play. Or, I mean, if they had Sunfall Invocation or whatever, the double white, I guess they would still cast 1-for-1 removal since they can't do the other removal anyway, or the other board wipe anyway. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7. This is not quite 8 mana. So I'm not going to get the card draw off the expend, but I can get the shoot the face. Double white. They would need specifically uncommon removals as the last card in their hand. If they have another Crumb and get it, that would also be pretty bad for me. Actually just throw a Heartfire Hero at it then? I guess now my creature dies either way, but then I get to protect my better creatures and shoot them for 3 when this dies. I feel like this is a fine play around Crumb and Get It. Or Parting Gust style stuff. Yeah, that's fine. They do get a fish for free, which is annoying, but what are you going to do? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the end result. Oh, they chose to let it come back instead of give us the fish. Well, then I'm very happy with the end result. Because if I did, again, theoretically, I could have tried to make the Slinger a 4-5, fighting with a 4-3, but that plays really bad against removal from them because then they kill my best creature and counter the removal, so I'm really happy I didn't do that. That's a lot of blockers. So much for Menace. And that is not a spell. 10 life. Block, block. Block, block. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What, 3, 2, and a 1-1? I kill both of those. I don't kill that. That's a free kill, but that's just a chomp, honestly. Pressure-wise, we just hit for damage here. 2 swings should be lethal. If they do not find a good top deck, and it's got to be a top deck here, they can pick up a 2-mana creature. but they don't have one. They'd exile the Orator to pick up a 4-drop and not be able to cast it. So yeah, they have to draw something good to survive 2 swings in a row. Because we're killing enough creatures off the attack, even if I am throwing Moira into the dumpster where she came from. I think it's she, I don't know. I don't know raccoon genders. This is 3 power, right? Yeah, 3 power doesn't matter. Kill them both. And they are at 5 against all this. They can block the 2/4, take 5, and die. They top decked a 2/2 first strike lifelinker, which is good enough for them to survive and exactly cheap enough to get them to draw an extra card in the same turn. It's a substantially better draw than our mountain. And we have to just pass turn now, because they eat a Treetop Sentries, eat a 2/2, take 3, gain 2. They go to 4 as the end result. That was just an incredibly live draw against literally nothing. Oh my god, into the double creature off of the Offspring spell. Not like this, Arena. I swear. This is an insanely bad top deck war right now because the Heirloom Epic now costs exactly enough because they have 1 token on board. Was once again the perfect top deck. Did we finally hit the perfect top deck? Not perfect, but a decent one here. I feel like I have to kill the Stoat. Which is frustrating because it means no attacks still. And I guess if they don't keep drawing cards like Intrepid Rabbit, the Stoat isn't that good anyway. And the Order can just pick up the Stoat and recast it in the same turn really easily. Man. This whole thing is just stress. Okay, so their Stoat just runs into my 2/4 brick wall right now. I guess they just order back the freaking Intrepid Rabbit, though, this way. Yeah, either way, that order's really good here. Yep. God dang it, maybe I had to just not attack at all. Blow up the 4/3 in the token and just don't even attack. At 8 total. That's pretty dang good. That's probably our best draw. It's annoying. Curious Forager now, though. Haste, Menace, Double Strike? Hold the phone. Well, they're gonna have like 3 blockers up, though. When I force the double trump here, well, 11, maybe not quite force it, but... It's definitely Teapot Slinger for an immediate 4-power double striker. menacing double striker instead of an overtime bigger Heartfire hero. Make sure we've got another blocker big enough for the Stoat if they draw a removal to clear sentries out of the way. Since again, the re-equip to Slinger is free next turn, and I also have way more than enough mana. More Graveyard Recursion? They're looking through it again. That can't be good for me. +2/+1 to everybody or something? Oh, is it the board wipe? After all this? Board wipe with the card draw spell on board? At least I keep that. Wow. Oh my god. At least I keep the Blacksmith's Talent. They have to draw into removal for Slinger too. Or they do still take a lot. But yeah, that's the board wipe plus draw 2. It's the mythic one. I don't know what else I've been expecting from Sealed, but almost every game has been determined by bombs. We're heavily involving bombs. That is a useless draw. But hey, they hit useless draws too. Did not get to kill the Slinger. They need 2 blockers up here. How bad will they draw? Surveil 2, draw 2. Lose 2 is also pretty important text at 5 life. Although at 5, pretty much any creature is already lethal with our Blacksmith's Talent on it. So they're down to 3. Star Charter. Daggerfang duo for the double block, but all they can do is chump here. The double block chump is the plan. Star Charter does draw them another card. Well, it fails to find. Well, Treetop Sentry's pre-combat. That'll actually just kill them, right? Because they have to double block that, and then they get Menace killed. Yeah, that's actually just a lethal top deck. Pretty much any creature would have been. So I get to free equip there. They have to block both of these, but they can only block one because Menace. They would need 3 creatures on board to block both. Ooh, alright. Well, things got really rocky with that Stoat turn a little bit. I think we played out the immediate following turns pretty incorrectly, because I was really thinking of like, well, they can just exile their thing and bring back the Stoat anyway if I blow up the Stoat. Was not thinking of the if I attack in, them just bringing back Rabbit and recasting with Offspring, so I think from that point forward, we probably should have played it out a little more defensively as just like a top deck war of just staring at each other for a little, because we opened them up to the great counterattacks by giving them a Rabbit engrave to pick up double target Stoat, and there were like multiple turns of those counterattacks going on, so maybe it would have played out even better for us had we just sat there at that point. But yeah, huge land clump for a little while, but that Blacksmith's Talent's just so good in the late game and very clearly finds us the victory in the end. 5-2 it is. We're guaranteed to get some of our gems back out of the event now, but these are very competitive, very top-heavy events where you only get your entry fee back on a 7-win run, and to get anything more from there, you got to do well during day 2. So Not even breaking even. You got to go 7 wins before 3 losses to get there, but at least something back, no matter what, is going to make any future runs just that much cheaper. But we are 5-2 now, heading into round number 8. All right, here we are for round 8. I like the curve out. I don't like that I can't target Heartfire Hero with anything, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Ooh, conduct electricity with all this mana ramp? It's gonna be pretty cheap. We do need to find some kind of finisher. We need to find one of our bombs. Because otherwise our cards are gonna get outclassed pretty quick. As soon as our opponent plays like a 4-drop, it's like, well, there goes my early plays, but there's my 4-drop. That helps a lot. I feel like it would be incredibly bold for them to block a Heartfire Hero, considering its Valiant ability, so we might be able to sneak 1 free point of damage in, but that's a little risky for my blood. I'm just going to drop Teapot Slinger and pass. I'm not going to bet this game on my opponent not being crazy. Some people out there are so bold. Hearthborn Battle is actually pretty good against this hand because we really want to double spell with Banner on a future turn. Also, Teapot Slinger makes us really want to do that. So take out the trash helps, but in order to double spell with it, I have to play Banner first. Mouse Soldier, Mole Druid, Raccoon Warrior, Squirrel Druid. I could say Druids and buff 2 creatures, but I think I just say Raccoons and buff the Menace. Rakakuni. Delete. We'll both take 2. A fair trade. I could discard this Forager. Maybe I shoulda. It is not particularly exciting right now. But I will almost definitely play Conduct Electricity next turn. If Teapot Slinger's still around, I'm definitely conducting. Shoot them again, menace them for 4 again. Oh yeah, I will conduct that. And then that's 2 cards out of 3 for Forager. Ooh, tap out for the Scry means I get extra damage with Heartfire Hero in. Ooh, Moira? I guess we wait for a land draw to do that. Because then I can play that and Forager. And expand off of playing that. They're down to 6 here. 2 cards engraved. I guess I do need 4 engraved for Forager. That is just a blocker again. Does not really work against Slinger. If they have the Brawl, it does. They can make it a 5/5 and fight. That would be very sad, but they do have 1 green mana up and Arena's waiting, so I think they have the Brawl. Gross. At least I get a fish, and I have a Curious Forager, so I need 1 more card engraved, and then I can pick up the Teapot Slinger here. Because that's 3 engrave. But obviously I don't want to exile the Slinger to pick up the Slinger. I cannot use the stones to destroy the stones. Well, that's the mana I needed, and that's the Forage card I needed. What a turn! Okay. Fabled Passage, MVP of the deck. Moira first, so I gain the life. Oop, oop, oop. Pick up the only big permanent in the grave. Is the Forge audio working? It's not looping anymore. Has it not been broken at all today and I'm just crazy? I'm just hearing things that don't exist? I just foraged and it's not replaying the Forage audio all game long. Am I free? What's going on? It worked? I don't understand. I don't comprehend. I do comprehend that Hunter's Talents is incredible. I have 1. Their stuff is juicy right now, so I have to Teapot Slinger first, and then I can kill their Teapot Slinger, but that's the biggest thing I can kill. Stuff is too juicy. Too thick. Block, block, take 3. Free kill, trade. To put them to 3 life. There's risk to this, but I feel it's worth it with Hunter's Talent on board with Heartfire Hero, because Heartfire Hero attacks as a 3-power creature next turn, and the odds of them finding a way to not die to the Heartfire Hero alone is very low. But it's not just a Heartfire Hero attacking next turn, it's a Heartfire Hero and a Teapot Slinger with Menace. So the odds of them not dying to either of those is super, super low. And they only have 1 red mana up, which is not enough to kill anything here. So it has to be just like kill Moira, trade with the 3/2, go to 3, or something that's slightly better for me. Oh, right, they can't kill Moira in the first place. Yeah, no, that attack's just great. Raccoon Rallier can't be used as an instant, so they couldn't buff the Guard Mouse and make it 5 power. Yeah, that was clearly the attack then. GG from opponent and the concession. And that is 6-2. We are all the way into the final boss with this deck, which makes me very happy. When I saw the sealed pool looking through all the colors, I was like, this feels like it could definitely make it to the final boss. And here we are. The final battle, win or lose. We got to hope for a decent matchup. Hope not to get blown out of the water by an incredible deck. But honestly, we've seen a lot of great sealed decks today, including ours. This is a high power level format, as every sealed format is with play boosters. So probably going to run into some scary stuff here, but hopefully our Gruul Raccoon beats, our trash pile, our trash heap, can take us all the way to victory as we head into the final boss. The final game of Magic for today, win or lose. All right, here we are on the play for the final battle. That's a good start, being on the play here. Got the Moira with a bunch of raccoons. Yeah, I mean, we're not starting till turn 3. It's not light speed or anything, but these are some good spells, and our opponent did take a mulligan here. So far, so good. Long stock brawl. Solid, cheap way to clear something out with some high toughness creatures, which we've got 2 of. Play a banner and a brawl in the same turn pretty easily in the future. Actually, if they don't kill Moira, which they're on double greens, that should be a little difficult. We can Teapot Slinger and brawl next turn. We'll have 5 mana up. Brambleguard Veteran. Is that going to be the play then? Just really put the pressure on them here. I don't mind it at all. I mean, we give them a fish. We do give them a fish. But then I've got a big Menacer that's going to keep shooting them. We've got a clear path for everybody for now. I mean, outside of the fish token. This feels worth it. Super mana efficient. It's the most power we can have on board right now. We get to follow up with Banner and Barterer. Double mana from these raccoons. They're on white now, though, so they could have exile removal like Banishing Light. They don't need to have creatures on board to use removal like they do with green. Rust Shield Rampager, just a 4/4. Not good enough against the 5/6 menace thanks to Patchwork Banner. And Clifftop Lookout's pretty bad right now, so I'm actually just going to Barterer first and then Banner so I can discard Lookout to draw 2. I mean, it's not bad right now, but I would take 2 cards over the 1 Lookout. So I will. Cash grab 3 Tree Scribe, and I can cast one of those this turn. That's huge. Definitely Raccoon. Buff the whole board. They could double block Moira. We get to expend 8 here. Oh my god. So I just expend 8. Yeah, hit with a 5/6 and expend 8. And then next turn I have 2 other spells to play, which is gonna definitely trigger the Barterer to draw cards, the Muera maybe. Expend 4 we can certainly do next turn. Yeah, Curious Forager with the cash grab. That's like a guaranteed expend 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All I need to do is hit a 3 mana or less permanent. Well, 3 mana or more permanents off of cash grab. Or my natural draw. Or my Byway Barterer draw. Jeez. They basically need the Starfall Invocation here, the board wipe, and even if they have it, I have a Curious Forager set up for next turn. So there's Harvest Right Host. If they have another Rabbit, that'd be pretty good. They draw a card and they've got quite a few blockers. Green, 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 I guess. Okay. So I guess I play for my hand first because the Barterer's gonna discard it at 4 mana value. Okay, trigger all this, get the new hand. Blacksmith's Talents and Wandertail Mentor. Oh my god, this is not fair. And Green Shell. I don't even play the Green Shell right now, though, because I can play Curious Forager out of exile this turn and this turn only. Lord have mercy on my opponent. This is not fair in the slightest. I mean, I can just slam the all attack button and not even care what happens, right? I want to expend 4 more first so I can Forager plus talent to do that. Forager back to Flamecaller and recast that, actually. Seems the strongest. Because Flamecaller adds to all the raccoon damage and the mice damage. And now I have so many cards in hand, if they kill Byway Barterer, it doesn't matter, so we just send in the Giant Menacing Byway Barterer. I can cast these next turn. Oh my god. Yeah, our opponent is so done with this nonsense, and I would be too. That is ridiculous. All right, full luck on that final hand. It certainly could have played out astronomically differently if our opponent had good cheap removal in their opener, but they were already forced into mull to 6, so they had to just keep a reasonable 6-lander at that point, or 6-lander, a reasonable 6-card hand at that point. So it looks like they did not have any removal in their opener, so we just get to have these cards just pop off together. I mean, both of these are a card draw engine, so when you stack them both together, it makes it so easy to just keep them going, drawing 4 extra cards a turn at that point. Absolutely absurd, and our opponent is just done with our nonsense. A very, very lucky hand, a very free victory to end things off, and I'm pretty happy with that. That is a 7-2 run today. We have broke into the Arena Open day 2 on our very first run this time around. Feels excellent. As I said, when we built the sealed pool, the sealed pool is incredible. Honestly, I think you could go almost any direction with this and end up with a very solid deck at worst. Even our rareless blue looks like a very solid color because the quality of like uncommons and stuff in there and the mana curve, but wow. Yeah, just an incredible sealed pool that I think is almost impossible to build incorrectly because everything just looked really nice, but I kept it nice and simple, went for the 2-color deck with the most rares, with the highest power out of any of the 2-color decks. And once I saw that we could play all of this and still be leaving some filler in the sideboard out of just the 2 colors, I was like, well, I mean, I guess I can just run the 2 colors and not do any splashing because we already have all gas in the deck, pretty much all decent filler or better. We still got to leave plenty in the sidelines out of just these 2 colors, like these hybrid cards we left there, the Heaped Harvests, all these red spells. Insane stuff. Yeah, really, just a really lucky event today for the most part. I think there were a lot of errors that we found during gameplay, both in winning and losing games. I think both the games we lost could have absolutely gone differently. At the very least, if I knew the future, the losing games could have gone differently. But I think even if I didn't know the future, there were things I could have been thinking about and playing around with the information I knew at the time. Like, that would have been better. Because I think whatever we played, when we went for the conduct electricity on just like a 1-1 and a 2-2, it's like I could have still used that at instant speed during their turn at least. Since it's killing two of their cards, it's not the biggest deal in the world if one of them gets saved by a combat trick. And the two cards we were trying to kill were small enough that the only combat trick that would save them would be the Crumb and get it for indestructible in the first place. So the odds of that does feel lower than the odds of them playing like a better creature for me to kill during their turn or trying to use it as a combat trick during their attacks. So had we kept the conduct electricity, did it instant speed, killed the Warren War Leader with it, again, you saw our draws near the end of that game. We drew so much gas at once. We managed to clear out a lot of their board. It was just the board was so insanely wide we still died. It would have been... We would have at the very least been at a much higher life total had we conducted the War Leader instead. So that was the one that really, I think, we could have done differently. And the other one, I think there was some combat tricks or something that I did not end up realizing and playing around that I probably could have gathered. Yeah, I don't remember our first loss. My memory is so bad with this kind of stuff. But yeah, I know there were a lot of misplays here, and a lot of this was just the luck of how powerful the deck is. But there were some tight plays too. We had opportunities to like cast a Longstock Brawl first thing in the turn and then swing with everybody in one of those games. Decided not to do that, opted away from that against their open mana, and got them to cast a Polywallop before we cast the Brawl. Had I just led with Longstock Brawl in that game, we would have been in a way worse spot, maybe even lose the game, because then we would kill nothing with our Longstock Brawl, and we'd be losing the creature in response. It would have been pretty disastrous, so pretty happy with that one. There was another Longstock Brawl I used on like a Heartfire hero in one game, even though I had a creature that was big enough to win the fight. I was like, well, if they have removal in response to Longstock Brawl, I don't really care if they kill the 1-1, and then we got them to blow removal on the 1-1 instead of the Slinger, which is a big deal, and so we got that going too. So some good plays, some bad plays, a little bit of everything. More than anything, though, an excellent sealed pool carries us all the way to the full 7-win run, which means that tomorrow I'll see you all for the Arena Open Day 2, draft number 1, where no matter what, we're in the money. We got in off of just one attempt, so I spent 5,000 gems to get 5,500 gems at worst. But ideally, we can get a 3 or a 4-win run, and if we do that, then we qualify for Day 2, draft number 2, where there's cash prizes up to $2,000 on the line. But that's going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe. That'll tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the Arena Open Day 2.